I made it through Resident Evil, the final chapter. I made it through 50 Shades Darker. I survived the Bye-Bye Man. And this is my reward. Oh, thank God. Welcome back to FilmMaster Reviews. I'm Adam J. Back in 2014, we were introduced to a certain badass character named John Wick. Not only was the film one of the best action movies of the last decade, it featured Keanu Reeves back in top form as a retired assassin getting revenge on those who'd wronged him. Now, I won't say what these assassins did to him to, warrant his revenge for those who haven't seen it, but for those who haven't seen the movie, shame. That's all I can say. Shame on you. Seriously, go see this if you haven't already. I'm pretty sure Keanu Reeves kicks more ass in this movie than he did in all three Matrix movies combined, so there you go. Now we have the sequel, John Wick Chapter 2. My biggest fear going into this was that they would just go back and completely rehash the first movie, that they would turn what was an amazing action film into a generic action film franchise. Thankfully, I'm pleased to say they didn't do that. John Wick Chapter 2 is not only a great movie, it's even better than the first. Shocking, I know. But it does happen sometimes. I won't reveal too much about the plot because this is a film that you should experience. But basically, John Wick refuses to do something, people come after him, he's running for his life, he wants revenge again, and now we have a sequel. What really made the first film work so well extending into this one is Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves completely owns this role. He fully commits to this character and he makes himself as a professional assassin 100% believable. He earns the role of a badass. I mean, let's look at Alice from the Resident Evil films. Does that character do anything to earn the role of badass? No, because you don't care about that character. Keanu Reeves as John Wick makes us care about him and his struggles, and the fact that he kills people effortlessly is just kind of a nice bonus. It's one thing to show John Wick doing something awesome, but we still have to care. We have to care about the character and the things going on around him. John Wick Chapter 2 does this all too well. What also makes this sequel work is that it expands upon the elements of the last film. It actually expands upon its world instead of just doing the same thing again, which they could have easily done. For example, remember that safe haven hotel for assassins we saw in the last film? The history of that place and the rules for it are expanded upon and play a much bigger role in the sequel. We see so many sequels constantly try to catch lightning in a bottle all over again by doing the same thing and nothing different. Hot Tub Time Machine 2, Sinister 2, and The Hangover 2 all did this. John Wick Chapter 2, however, feels very different. It feels like it's advancing the plot and the mythos of John Wick instead of just regressing to the same old thing. The action is actually much better and more intense this time around, and for those who have seen the first film, you know that's saying a lot. The action in the original was outstanding. The director actually outdid himself in this sequel. There's one long action set piece that takes place in the catacombs. It's so perfectly edited and shot, and the tension of the scene never lets up. There's another sequence in particular with Keanu Reeves and Common that is both tense and hilarious. There's really good physical comedy in the scene that sells it and makes it more enjoyable. In fact, there's a ton of comedic moments in this film, mostly revolving around the reactions of the characters when John Wick does something unpleasant. Lawrence Fishburne cameos in this movie, and I gotta say, it was so awesome to see Neo and Morpheus back together on screen again. That was just so cool. I swear, I hope they get Carrie-Anne Moss to cameo in the next one. Please make it happen. That woman is being forced to make crap like the Bye-Bye Man. She needs help now. Trust me. The woman needs work. Give her a hand, guys.
He's offered $7 million for your life. $7 million is a lot of money, Mr. Wick.
So I guess you have a choice. You want a war? Or do you want to just give me a gun?
Somebody please get this man a gun.
If I have any complaints, I really would have liked to see more of Fishburne's character in the movie. In all honesty, he's not in it much. For what I got, I was satisfied, but this character was so much fun, I just wanted more of him. But that's the thing, if my biggest complaint with this movie is that I wanted more of one character because he was so awesome, that should tell you how great this film is. My only other issue is that the villain, he's not really that interesting. He's not bad by any means, but there's nothing about him we haven't seen in any other action movie villain before. However, what makes up for this is the history they give between him and John Wick. The history between them is enjoyable and believable, so you can kind of look past the fact that the villain on his own is nothing special. Ruby Rose also makes an appearance as a secondary villain. She speaks entirely in sign language, and actually I thought that was kind of clever. I really don't know how a deaf woman would hear an assassin approach, but it was pretty cool. A tiny, awesome deaf girl killing assassins is not something you see too often. Overall, John Wick Chapter 2 does what all good action sequels are supposed to do. It builds on the main character, builds on the world around the main character, and ups the action and stakes to make the story feel new and exciting, instead of just a rehash. It's perfectly acted, perfectly paced, and brilliantly sets itself up for John Wick to come back for a third round in the future. In the end, John Wick Chapter 2 was even better than the first, exceeded all my expectations, and I can't give it anything less than an A. The movie comes out this weekend. Please go see it, because I swear, if this does not beat 50 Shades Darker at the box office, I'm just gonna assume we failed as a species. If 50 Shades Darker wins, there's no hope for us. No hope.